What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. It's Sunday night. That means this is At Weeks in the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics. And there's some good stuff to talk about. We just had the annual Comicx Pro Summit, so there's a lot of cool news, and we're going to dive into all of that right after this. Hey, guys.
Hey,
threw me off. I'm usually the second one, or like right after Paul, so I'm not. I wasn't able to do my hello.
Yeah, I clicked on Paul. I'm like, wait a minute. He turned his camera on. He's coming in too. Hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. Cool. It has been a great one in this house, and I'm feeling every second of it in my bones at this point. So we're going to get straight to the point tonight. It's going to be a very direct show. Hope we have fun. Hope it's informative, and I hope I don't tucker out before the end of it. So real quick, I'm going to run through and say hello to the chat. Las Cruces, what's happening? Scotty, how's it going? Pops, what up, what up? What's going on, Paul? Trev, how you doing? Marcus, ayo to you. Aggressively relaxing, hello, hello. DJ Links, what's up, what's up? And I think I made it to the bottom already. Boom, we did it. If you come in after the hellos, hello. And real quick to hit it on the front end, because most people catch the front of the video versus the end of the video. Paul, what do you have going on this week?
We have tomorrow morning, we have the DC Comics Deep Dive. It is part 3, the chapter of Joker Year 1 from Batman number 144. That's at 10 a.m. on my channel. And on Wednesday, this is a Guess That Key week, so we will have Guess That Key with Lady Fantastic and Izzyverse NYC. So they will be with us on Wednesday night at 9:30 on my channel.
There we go.
Is this Lady Fantastic's first time?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It is.
Lady Fantastic and Izzyverse. So it's going to be hectic and full of profanity. Let's go. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
TM Nerdy, what do you got going on this week?
Tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, Chatting with the Comic Community drops with Dale of Suspense. So definitely come by, check that out. It'll be a premiere video. Then later on that night, part of the Monday night lineup, excuse me, we'll be part of Between the Lines. It'll be over at Geek Out with Roscoe's channel. We'll have Donovan Alex. It's a guy that Roscoe found and he's a huge fan of. And the theme is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mixed with musicians. So if you want to drop from home, feel free to do so. And then Wednesday night, tonight, where we'll be talking about news, just random news, whether it be comic related, movie related, TV related, gaming related. We'll have a bunch of topics up. I'll have them up tomorrow or Tuesday night, and that we already have one discussion that we'll probably be talking about tonight, and that's the whole DC moves back to Wednesday release dates.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
You know, part of Comic Pro. Which for those of you who don't know, we're going to talk a lot about Comic Pro tonight, but Comic Pro is basically, it is a place where a lot of the retailers get together and they get together and they meet, and the different comic groups, comic printers, whatever, like Marvel and then DC and then Image or whatever, they come in, they do a presentation basically to kind of like, it's kind of like a pep, trying to get, the comic retailers, jazzed about what's going to be coming up and their particular, group going forward. And that's where lots of announcements come out. Sometimes even more than you might get at some of the cons, you get them at the Comic Pro instead, because they truly have the audience that they want. It's the comic retailers that are going to be buying their books. So.
Yeah, and as far as tonight goes, I'm just going to keep it real with you people watching. I don't give two what's about what Marvel had to say. I'll just continue to catch what I want to catch as it comes out, kind of thing. But there's a lot of announcements that really caught my attention when it came to DC, as well as Ghost Machine. And I'll kick it off with Ghost Machine because there's not really a lot to talk about, considering it's just rolling out. But they did just reinforce that April is going to be dubbed Ghost Machine Day when all 3 of their first titles drop at the same time, with Rook, Redcoat, and Geiger. And they did also, outside of that, announce that Hyde Street will officially get a release date in October. So that was really all that they had from Ghost Machine, was just that, which we knew about the first three, but giving Hyde Street an actual date and setting it for October, I thought was pretty solid as well, being that the book is a horror book. But I'm excited for all of that. You know that this channel will be covering plenty of Ghost Machine as it happens and talking Ghost Machine, and we'll be reviewing those books as they come out. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. At least this guy will. You know, I don't hold anyone else to have to read anything, but I'll be reading it.
Jeff John said that they're not done announcing creators yet either.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's another big one that he has. You know, when it was really kicking off, he said that more creators would get announced as time goes. They just wanted them to fulfill existing contracts before pointing out that they've been scalped. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a couple out there that I know would really excite me seeing them get named, and I'm sure that there's plenty that I'm not even thinking of that when they get named, it'll probably be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, I'm like racking my brain to go back and see, okay, who has Jeff John with? You know, because those are probably the prime candidates. You know, to jump on board.
2010s era kind of rock stars.
Well,
yeah.
He worked closely with Jeff Lemire and Scott Snyder in that era.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine him getting Lemire. Like Lemire's already kind of doing Lemire's own thing, you know, like Lemire's like on like a smaller version trajectory that Jeff Johns took himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but sound off in the chat if you got any creators you can think of off the top of your head that you would like to see move over and go exclusive at Ghost Machine and bring some of their own ideas to the party. Let us know. Let us know. I think that we're knowing that we have the horror imprint is what we're really waiting on to get announced and flushed out. I can only imagine that the creators that are not yet announced are going to have to be attached to some of that stuff. So I don't really know too many. I don't read too much horror stuff, you know, like I don't know.
Speaking of horror, it was announced that EC Comicx is coming back
in July.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been like more than 60 years or something like that since the Fandom years that EC Comicx has put anything out. So
that's a long time. So that's the pre-code horror people. Like they're getting a return to greatness. I don't know how many titles that they're going to be doing. If they're just going to be doing like this, if it's a gimmick book or what, you know, like a Gold Key is technically back.
Yeah.
But they just kind of do some weird like Ghost Dog book or something, or Boris Karloff something. It feels like more of a gimmick just to put the imprint out there than it does like something of substance that you might want to read. I'm wondering if that's what the EC gimmick will be as well.
Yeah, it very well could be.
No, Pops. That paints a beautiful picture.
And I think when those three Ghost Machine books come out, I believe they're going to have each title will have one part of a triptych, a connecting cover, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, there's this big wraparound cover that they've shown. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. It's like the whole Ghost Machine universe kind of in it. Ivan Reese shared it out a while back. I think all of them have shared it out, but yeah, it's gorgeous. I want James Robinson to come back to Comicx at Ghost Machine and do another YA adventure series like Leave It to Chance. That'd be young adult YA. Is that what that is?
Yep.
I'd be kind of like curious to know if like even if like somebody that Jeff Johns worked with recently would come over to that, like maybe like a Todd Knock who worked on the entire run of Stargirl.
That's actually a good guess. I wouldn't have thought about that, but it'd be cool to get Todd over there. He would work good for some of the Family Odyssey titles as well, like that have that intentional tone, like this, like all ages kind of reads.
Could somebody like, Jeremy Adams end up over there who worked?
Jeez, we can only wish.
Worked with Jeff Johns on Flashpoint Beyond,
Yeah, dude, like, yeah, him and Tim Sheridan worked with Johns on Flashpoint Beyond. Like, just go ahead and snatch them up early. Like, you know what? Don't just come on. Just come on over here.
Yeah.
That would
And
be
that's,
solid.
they, in a lot of ways, that's almost like the next step for them is they can get into creative, creator owned stuff, and they're with, probably, the gold tier creators and Ghost Machine,
Mhm. Now I know Jeremy Adams
I
already
mean,
has like an impressive resume outside of comic books and everything. So him moving through that, like, like that's like the standard career path. You work for the big two for a while, then you do a creator own, and it's successful enough that can carry your career from there, and you not have to be beholden to the big two. Like Jeremy Adams already has an established life as a writer outside of comic books and other media. So it's not crazy to think that he's like, let's just get to it, kind of thing. He's been writing for a long time. I don't know what Sheridan has on his resume.
Although the writing we've talked about this, the writing comics probably helped him get through the writer's strike.
Yeah, very true. Now, as far as DC goes, there was a lot of announcements that I did notice from. All right, well, real quick, Marvel talked about their Blood Hunt summer event. It's going to have 58 issues total for the series. Cool, Blood Hunt. That's the one that's going to have an R-rated cut for their main book titles for it, or something like that.
Right.
Paul up at ABX told me about that a few weeks back. That's actually kind of interesting. Like, I guess there's going to be like Blade's going to be hanging dong or something in it. R-rated book, not for kids.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
So they're going the Batman route.
Yeah.
It's Blade damned.
Yeah, Blade damned. You're gonna have to read it to see. Does it have its own set of fangs? Read it to find out. Hanging dong, let's go. But over at DC, they also announced their summer blockbuster event that's been teased for the past year and a half at this point, with the Dawn of DC timeline grid that they gave us that was like half blacked out, and it's slowly been being illuminated as time goes. I haven't seen that timeline fully illuminated now that it's been announced, but we did get the name of the summer blockbuster event, which is Absolute Power. We're going to see Amanda Waller's multi-year plan come to action, where she has Zerna Batman like alphaed out, as well as Queen Brainiac. Is that what it was called? Brainiac Queen or Queen Brainiac?
Yeah.
It'll be spinning out of the pages of Action Comics with the House of Brainiac storyline, as well as spinning out of the pages of Chip Zdarsky's main Batman run that he's been building upon itself for the past year as well, with the failsafe, the Zerna, and all that stuff. And we're going to be seeing what I'm hoping will be the triumphant return of the Justice League of America as well. We do know that from playing with the settings on the photo of that timeline, that the Justice League is slated for a return at the end of this year. So I'm hoping that this event will spark the triumphant return of the Justice League, because after this week, I'm dropping Titans. They just ain't the premier team they think they are right now, not with Tom Taylor at the helm. He's meant for Elseworlds. But what are y'all thoughts on this this event, the summer blockbuster, Absolute Power?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to start. It's basically it's going to start on Free Comic Book Day. There's supposed to be an original story. Also going to basically cover the history from Dark Crisis through Night Terrors through Dawn of DC and everything. And then there's going to be a one shot in June, and then the Absolute Power proper will start in July. There's going to be multiple series that go along with this as well, but Mark Waid is supposedly going to be writing every single chapter of Absolute Power, even all the miniseries as well. So, and the main series is going to be him and Dan Mora.
Books, right? 24 unique books make the entirety of the event. 4 main titles and an Alpha and Omega issue. So it's a 6-issue event with just like they're keeping with the formula that we've seen over the past year, where we're not dragging an event out for a year, which I'm happy about.
Right. Yeah, and Dan, like I said, Dan Mora is doing the art on the main title too. So, yep, yeah, I think I think Nicola Scott was one of those they hype up the title to get people to buy it when it first starts by putting A-listers on it, and then after the first arc, some of them leave. So they're not alone. Lots of people. Yep.
Dan Moore and
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
is definitely a win. Definitely a win.
Mm-hmm.
TM, what are you thinking about
Yeah.
this event, this absolute power?
I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited. I'm looking at more of it now. It's saying like the event includes like titles from Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman crossing over. Task Force 7 has me interested. Oh man, everybody's dropping.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that term spoken out loud. This is the first I'm hearing about Task Force 7. Does it give you any details about it?
No, it's just saying Absolute Power, Task Force 7, and Absolute Power Origins series announced as part of the event.
If you follow the Suicide Squad and their highs and lows, you know right now we're in a slump. We don't have an active title coming out, but where we last left them, Rick Flag defected from Amanda Waller. He went and formed his own band of ex-squad members that were burned by Waller to go out and shut Waller down. She got away. That team is still out there. So I'm wondering if we'll see a return of that team. I wonder if that might be that team, because we haven't seen Rick Flag since right before Dawn of DC at this point.
I just found some more about Task Force 7. I scrolled down. It says maybe 3 shy of Task Force X, the official name of Suicide Squad. It is also the average number of members of the Justice League, which is overdue a return, and whose absence enabled Amanda Waller to gain presidential powers during Beast World and increase her power base. Or could it even be a Justice Gang? Well, Absolute Power Origins smacks of the old Secret Origin series that we used to love. Might Amanda Waller, Brainiac Queen, and Zernar be getting an issue each?
That'd be cool. Those Secret Origins books were great.
I love those books.
Mm-hmm. That's where we got that fantastic one on the Phantom Stranger. Like that, dude, that thing is like seared into my mind. Like how instead of giving you like a straight origin form, they gave you 3 or 4 straight origins and left it for you. Like pick the one that you think best fits him, because no one really knows. I'm like,
yeah. And when it first started, they were doing like Roy Thomas was doing. They were doing a Golden Age origin and a Modern Age origin in the same.
That's what they did with Suicide
book,
Squad.
So.
You got the senior and the junior team, and kind of how they, Oh, that'd be tight. Bring a Team 7 folks from Wildstorm. You know, Wildstorm has been bleeding over pretty regularly. They make sure that those characters aren't forgotten in the last year as well. Hopefully they do a lot of cool stuff. It really seems like under the Dawn of DC banner, they're really expanding their catalog and like making sure that everyone knows that the DCU is in fact a U. It's not just the Trinity, which we were really carrying the entire brand on for a while a couple of years ago.
Right.
I think there's a lot to be excited about. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing more of the individual and unique titles announced. Some of the little, you point out, the little mini series that go along with it and all that. It looks like it's really going to reach into everything going on. And it hasn't been since Death Metal 2019 that we really went that in depth with a summer event with DC Comics. So I'm excited. Yeah. I don't expect everyone to be as excited. I'm a DC stan, so.
I really enjoyed Beast World, so I'm excited to see what's coming.
Yeah, that was ridiculously good. It didn't make sense why it was so good. Let's see what else was announced.
I'm upset by the people dropping Titans. I read this recent issue and I enjoyed it.
We're going to get there. We'll definitely get there. We're going to burn through some reviews here shortly. That was the biggest announcement from Comicx Pro for DC Comics, obviously. Another thing, DC said that they're going to be switching back to Wednesday releases after 4 years of releasing on Tuesday. Their graphic novels, their trade paperbacks, everything else will still continue to release on Tuesday. The only thing that will switch to Wednesdays is the monthly ongoing titles and miniseries. The floppy copies will switch to Wednesday release, thus confusing shops still. So don't know what's up with that. Don't care. That's a bummer. Tuesdays are my off days. I enjoy being able to go sit at the shop on Tuesdays and blah, blah, blah. might have to change my schedule. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what affects you.
That's July. I think that's starting July, I believe, right?
Yeah, July 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get a new Wednesday comics out of it.
I'm very prone to Tuesdays. I like Tuesdays because nothing's going on in the world on Tuesdays, and I can have an off day to run errands. And it's more than just new DC day for me. It's GSD day for me.
Yeah, I figured it'd hit you the hardest because, like, yeah, you do a Tuesday video and go over new DC day books. But, like, for some people, it's just like, I know a lot of shops, they still didn't even do that. They were like, you know what, we're going to release on Wednesdays and I know we get them early, but we're going to release them on Wednesdays. It's too confusing for us.
Yeah, Lunar still shows up like the Thursday before. Like they're selling Marvel books while DC books for the following week are showing up via UPS. Lunar ships way earlier than Diamond. Mm-hmm. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Elseworld got they reiterated that Elseworld's back. I believe was that July as well, Paul.
I believe so. Yeah,
they're bringing the brand back. That's all this means is the actual branding on the comic book is coming back. That says Elseworlds. It never should have went away to begin with. So I'm glad they're bringing it back. Some of the greatest comic stores that have ever been told have that little symbol on the corner of them. Shout out to Kingdom Come. Mm-hmm. And you'll see a lot of collected editions of stuff that was released in the absence of Elseworld as they do subsequent printings. They'll end up getting branded with Elseworlds. Perfect example, DC versus Vampires Volume 2 is coming. Elseworld. That means Volume 1 was Elseworld. It really just makes no sense. Elseworld never went away, just the branding did. And so it's super weird and confusing for a lot of people that are getting into comics or trying to figure out how the whole multiversal thing works and all that stuff. So it definitely makes sense that's coming back. Speeding Bullet was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And McFarlane did that great figure of that as well. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that come back. Just makes it make sense more. Mm-hmm. It makes it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, Red Sun. So they did was when they stopped Elseworlds before too long, then suddenly there was Black Label, and it was like Black Label was pretty much the new Elseworlds, So
kinda, yeah. Like Black Label was so convoluted though. Everyone's like, "Is this the mature imprint? Yeah. Is this Vertigo? Is this Elseworld? What is this?" One thing that they did with Black Label is they retro labeled some volumes as well. Like Batman Damned was technically the first Black Label, right? But that Batman Damned is a follow up to Joker that Israelio and Bermejo did. So they went back and retrofitted the Joker collected volume with the Black Label imprint when it initially didn't have it when it came out. So yeah, just keep Elseworld. You can drop Black Label. You don't even need Black Label. Just Elseworld. Well, I guess you still kind of do because some of it is canon. See, it's still confusing.
Yeah.
Still confusing.
This is considered
just
Black
do Elseworlds.
Label.
To me, Black Label to me should be
like
the
20 years old
the mature.
Black Label.
Yeah. Black Label to me should be the more mature stuff.
Yeah, I think they originally solicited it as like bringing in top tier. We're gonna top tier the hell out of this book and call it Black Label. It's premium. It's top shelf. But it's always been convoluted to me.
Right. DC also announced DC Finest.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like I was going to let Rob talk about the Robin compendium, and then that kind of bleeds over into a big announcement. But Tim Drake is getting a compendium. Is that what they called it?
Yes.
Yeah, a compendium. So compendiums are like more for reading, and that they don't have like any of the like covers like omnibuses do. They just go straight into the story and they're usually big boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're mostly for reading. They usually have like 50 issues in them. But yeah, it doesn't have any of the covers. It just goes straight into the stories, and that's what they're good for. They're good for reading and that. And there's a ton of stories from Tim Drake I haven't read.
So no bells and whistle, no behind the scenes. Well, what I would call special features. You know, a lot of collected volumes tend to have special features, special forwards afterwards, little bonus things. But DC announced what Paul was saying: the world's finest.
Yes, and they were comparing it in some ways to the Epic line that Marvel does. It's going to be character specific as opposed to title specific. So there'll be one a DC Finest for Superman, one for Batman. They showed a Flash one and a Wonder Woman. I think those are the only 4 that they announced so far. And so it may have, they won't do stuff in chronological order, but it'll do, like in the Flash one, it'll have Showcase number 4, and then maybe it'll jump to, 132 or something, which is an important story, or 123, and so forth. So it's not going to do things in order. It's just going to have the important beats for the particular characters.
Kind of like a best of character kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did notice when they showed the 4 spines of them, the Superman one, they almost looked like if you put the spines next to each other, it looked like it went through the ages via characters. Like Superman was like focused way in the Golden Age, Batman a little bit later, Flash a little bit later, and Wonder Woman a little bit later kind of thing. It was pretty interesting. To be honest with you, I'm not going to be picking up any of those. Nothing against them. I think it's a great idea. It's a great little way for people to check in on the character to see if they kind of are into them, kind of dig them or whatever. I like the fact that all the spines match. They look good lined up next to each other, but history shows they don't kind of keep that going for very long in any sense. They redo something and change up the format to solicit something new and not very long.
Yeah. The pop. I'm not talking about the individual issues. I'm talking about the collected Epic books that they do, that Marvel does. Not to be confused.
I saw that. The elitist Beckerman.
Yeah. House of L mentioned DC versus Marvel. Jim Lee.
Oh my God.
About.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jim Lee slam dunked on the other solicitations for those 2 omnibuy.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find this thing. Has he shared a color version yet? Or the
not that I've seen.
I saw the amalgam wraparound image. Holy potatoes. Yeah, this thing is sick. So everyone knows that we have the omnibus for DC versus Marvel, as well as the omnibus for Amalgam that were announced a couple of weeks back. And since then, we've seen covers release for it. And since then, we saw Jim Lee share this image, which is his cover, wraparound cover for Amalgam, just Amalgam. This isn't the DC versus Marvel. This front and back 2-page splash is all Amalgam characters. But I don't know if it's going to be colored. I don't know if it's going to be a direct edition, an exclusive via Amazon or Target or what. I have no clue yet.
It says there inks and pencils that come from Scott Williams.
And Sin Color.
Right.
Inks and pencils from Scott
Sinclair Williams.
Ink and Sin Color.
Right. So, and this has people speculating that Amalgam's coming back. Like that they're going to do another Amalgam series.
You think them doing this omnibus is just
a lot of times
people for it?
A lot of times what they do is that's when they decide to try all these old stories is when they're thinking of doing something with them in the near future.
See, Pops put a comment down there that says connecting covers for 2 volumes. But right here it says next up the covers for Marvel DC crossover collections. So why does it look like what Jim Lee's doing isn't for the omnibus, but for like the contents of the omnibus just in 2 volumes? If you remember, Amalgam was previously collected in trade paperback, and it was done in multiple trade paperbacks, 2 volumes of trade paperbacks. So I wonder if what Jim Lee is doing is not the size of an omnibus, but like maybe hardback or paperback version. You know what I mean? Just a re-release of. I don't know. It's so unclear. It's so unclear. All I know for certain is what we're looking at here is not the DC versus Marvel stuff. It's just amalgam, which that's the only part I care about with this whole thing.
Also, they have like a ton of
because they announced.
Inside,
it's supposed to be 2 omnibus, one that has all amalgams, all but 2 of the amalgam. There's going to be 2 that they're not releasing.
Why?
That they're not going to reprint because they were written by Gerard Jones.
Was he canceled?
If anybody knows the history, he was found guilty of child pornography. So they are taking those 2 issues out of the reprint, which is JLX. So JLX is not going to be in there because he wrote one, and then the Magneto one, and I think, yeah.
Well, lucky for me.
So they just announced yeah. And then the second one, like I said, the second one is supposed to do all of those, Superman versus Spider-Man, Batman versus Hulk, and all those other good things. So, and I mean, if you've seen the bookstore covers, the one from John Romita to me just looks horrid. And the one by Dave Gibbons, which is the amalgam one, doesn't look as bad. It looks pretty good.
He worked on Green Lantern as well. How many issues of Green Lantern did he do?
Yeah. When Hal came back, he did Emerald. Yep, he did Emerald Dawn 2. When Hal came back, and with the gray hair, he was the one that
they sure
did that.
Didn't cancel those books.
No, well, it happened after that.
Jesus. Yeah, but I bet you can still go out and like a collected volume with Emerald Dawn like that. Mm-hmm. Are they? I didn't. Dude, that's crazy. What a piece of crap. Why has he got to ruin our fun?
I don't know.
This guy sucks. Yeah, I have both of these. I have all 24 issues of the amalgam stuff, and obviously have Green Lantern stuff. But that sucks that it's going to get excluded. Like how does it benefit the reader, DC, or him? Like, well, what you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess like they don't want to pay him, and if they use it, they have to pay him or something. Is that the reasoning behind it?
That's probably it. Yeah.
I don't know how.
I'm guessing that's probably it.
Because I know like they own this stuff, but I'm sure like the way, royalties or whatever works. I have more than 24 issues of amalgam, then you have doubles, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you can have more than 24 issues if you count the Marvel versus DC issue number 4 and Access 1 through 4 as well.
Is this the one that the Magneto one? Yeah.
All right, TM Nerdy has officially been canceled. That's the one. And then the other one is like where you have like
the
that's the one where you have like Aquaman like in the front and center. Like
I have that one too. I was trying to look for it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The DC versus Marvel, the DC Marvel All Access, those are going to be in the amalgam omnibus as well.
Nice. Yeah, luckily they all just like stand as one shots. It's not like you're reading like some like ongoing story.
Minus any panels that Gerard Jones may have written.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Access is actually a 4-issue story. The rest of Amalgam is just one shot.
What isn't like there is some 2-issue stories in Amalgam. I think like Dark Claw is 2 issues.
There's 2 one-shots of Dark Claw. So they did 12 issues of Amalgam, 12 different issues of one-shots, and then they decided to do a second run on them like right after. You know what I mean? They did 2 separate 12-issue runs of Amalgam, and some characters, the more popular one. That's why you have Super Soldier number 1, then you have Super Soldier Men of War #1, which was from Volume 2. You have Dark Claw #1. Then you have like Dark Claw something #1 was like an homage to the Batman Adventures cover and stuff. So some characters got a second one shot, and then some characters like Lobo the Duck only got one, and Generation Hex only got one, and they kind of just, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. I eventually want to get them all too, like all of the singles. Like I'm halfway. No, actually, I'm not halfway there. I'm like a dent in.
Yeah, Spider Boy got one solo, then you got like Spider Boy, like a team of people kind of thing. What is going on, Spidey Powder Tumblr? What's up, homie?
I'm excited for what DC has coming in. So DC's just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, they are doing really good right now. I hope this event just continues to escalate. Like this is really them doing like the first big event since they really got their footing is rooted as it is. Their continuity is sharp. The storytelling is pretty consistent. Like it's solid. It's solid. Any other big things from Comicx Pro that caught y'all's attention? I think that was pretty much it for me.
I think so, yeah.
We all want to hit on some reviews. Let's talk about some new releases that dropped this week. Then we can make like a baby and head out. Because I'm being honest with you guys, I'm ready for bed. I just want to bury my head in a pillow. Let's see. First off, I do want to point out that Batman 4 dropped this week, the finale to the 3-part story Joker Year 1. I will say it was decent for all the details and the play-by-play. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., the DC Deep Dive over on Sector 2815. We go through that. Throw that out there. Okay. What y'all got? What y'all enjoy this week?
Well, come on.
Yeah, we're gonna start at the top, huh? Wonder Woman issue number 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap. That was a comment. For those that aren't reading Wonder Woman, Tom King, Daniel Sampere are making magic happen. We saw the Sovereign make another play for Wonder Woman, having grouped together a small team of a lot of her foes from the past and surprise attack her in Washington, D.C., and you get a play-by-play of the battle, also from the perspective being told like it's a past event. And it really showcases like all these traditional heroic comic book superhero traits and why Wonder Woman is kind of an indomitable character. And it was a moment. It really was. It was a very special moment as not just someone who enjoys Wonder Woman, but as a comic book fan. Wonder Woman, I said it earlier, is not my favorite superhero by far, but this was by far the best comic that I've read in a long time. It had all the beats, the emotional moves, that it was a very regal experience reading that one.
Yeah, I mean I kind of thought the title of the issue was going to be, you know, like the Gauntlet or something, because to your point, she just faces off almost against every single one of her villains that have been put together by the Sovereign, and she seemingly falls at one point, and then, you know, out of nowhere she comes back. That's that indomitable spirit that you were talking about. You know, she basically always finds a way to move forward, which is, you know, a hallmark of Wonder Woman. And Tom King, I think, much like Philip K. Johnson, I think, was able to embody, you know, what the spirit, the character of Superman was. I think so far Tom King has really kind of embodied what the character of Wonder Woman is supposed to mean so far.
It was something special for sure. The artwork again pairs perfectly with the pace, style, and writing and everything. It just lines up so great.
Yeah. And the backup story with Trinity and Damian, and it's like it was actually pretty funny that they're talking about Damian has his own version of what happened in Final Crisis.
I didn't read the backup story in this one. This is the first one.
It's actually really kind of funny.
Story. I missed the Trinity one shot, so I'm like, I got to go back and read that Trinity one shot because I got a gap in my backup story stuff because they did that goofy collection of the backup stories with 8 pages of new material a couple of weeks back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
TM, what's one that you enjoyed this week?
I enjoyed Titans. I did. I really enjoyed Titans. I'm liking where it's going. We got Trigon in this issue. We got Evil Raven conspiring to turn the team into her kind of minions in a way, kind of have her followers. So she has a plan, and I'm excited to see how this plans out. The aftermath from Beast World is definitely seen in this, with a lot of people still scared of who Beast Boy is and what he's done. And we're definitely going to see that play in more and more. And I don't understand you guys that are all dropping it.
I don't have to explain myself to you. It's not bad. I'll preface this. It's not bad. It's just not. There's so much stuff that just shines brighter than Titans right now on my pool list, and there's so much stuff coming that I have. I don't know. Sacrifices must be made for the greater good.
I only wish I had more than one comic to give to my country. I'm kind of interested to see where he goes with the Dark-Winged Queen. I'm hoping it doesn't kind of mirror like the Dark Phoenix type thing, but that's who they're setting up the Evil Raven to become is the Dark Queen. So we'll see where that leads us.
I'm pretty sure she's just going to kill Trigon and take his place, and the team's just going to do an exorcism, and she'll be fine. That's where this ultimately goes. One that I thoroughly enjoyed this week more than I expected to was John Stewart's Green Lantern War Journal #6 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I was expecting to wrap up this Revenant Queen stuff, the kind of the wreckage of the past that John Stewart's been like the only active Green Lantern for like a couple of years. So he's been dealing with all the hecticness that DC was going through. And now that we're back to like with a level playing field with Green Lantern characters actually existing and getting stories, I was expecting to kind of like just blow past all that stuff from the past, wrap it up, put it in a bow, and move into like the light, the dawn of DC light. But no, we're going deeper into this Revenant Queen stuff. John Stewart takes an L in this one, but not after having a fantastic battle and some awesome construct use. And I'm kind of interested to get into more of this. What they've done is they've explained what the Revenant Queen is and these ghosts are, and it's kind of a different form of light. Their light is made out of willpower. What are these creatures' lights made out of? And they play with the concept of what if we manipulate light on that level and become like its equal opposite. The Revenant Queen has also turned out to be like almost kind of like a phantom of one of the old gods that we were introduced to during the War World saga. So PKJ is calling back to his earlier stuff, kind of giving this more weight and more awesomeness. So I found myself like, okay, with that reveal, it kind of makes me more interested in this. You know what I mean? It's not just like a throwaway Revenant Queen thing. We're building this awesome old gods lore, and where there's old gods,
right?
They're not far behind our new gods. New gods don't like old gods. And I'm hoping that we'll get some new gods somewhere along the way. But I'm interested to see where this goes. It's definitely not in fear of getting cut from the pool list, that's for sure. So
yeah, to your point, I mean, he invoked the spirit of Ulgrin from the War World saga.
Yeah, the old god. Cool. Yeah, the oldest god.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading no Green Lantern books except for the Golden Age Green Lantern.
I was about to throw this book at you.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, what else did you get this week? Hey, I got that book.
Yep.
I got this book. I got this book.
Yeah.
I got this
Okay,
book.
well, you have all of them, so why don't you tell us about what happened in them then? You have multiple
Yeah, it's pretty
copies.
cool. We see the fight play out down in Atlantis between the new MonsterVerse kaiju that was introduced and an aquatic dragon-like kaiju. It's fighting Godzilla right outside the gates of Atlantis. The superheroes are down there trying to help Aquaman and the other Atlanteans, like keep them back enough to not destroy the dome that protects Atlantis, killing a bunch of people in the process. They have released the Kraken to help fight off this beast as well. That fight continues to rage on. While we see what's going on with Lex Luthor activating Mecha Godzilla, we've also kind of playing more into the thing like Superman alive. I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We don't know. But they're really just building up, putting all the things in place for an epic showdown. We have 2 issues left. And one thing we're doing is trying to get Kong to the fight. We're trying to get Superman awake, and we're trying to get Mecha Godzilla there now. Some big monster action in this one, and there's a big reveal that the League of was it the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows? Which one was it? League of Shadows.
Right.
League of Shadows.
Yeah.
Have something that they're taking to the Lazarus Pit. I'm pretty sure we're about to wake up like Ghidorah or something. Who knows? Because there was a skeleton in a previous issue, and I forget which or whose skeleton it was, but they have a giant kaiju something wrapped up, being taken by a helicopter to a giant Lazarus pit. So now Ra's al Ghul is here. So everything is on the table. Everything, MonsterVerse wise, DCU wise. So who knows where it's going to go? It's building up really big though.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. When I saw Ra's al Ghul in the last panel, I'm like, yes, they are basically Brian Bucaletto or whatever the guy's last name is basically
Sounds right.
taking everything and throwing it at the wall,
Yeah.
for this. So
TM, what you got?
John Constantine, issue number 2. I enjoyed it.
Tell us about it. Let's hear it.
Well, he's on the search for Dream Standstill. And Swamp Thing shows up, but not until the end. And we don't get any resolution until the end. So it's a story that I don't think Mark will like. But it's the journey to get there. I enjoyed the middle and the end. I like the conversations. I like the dialogue between these characters. I forget her name, but we get introduced to her who stole Dream Sand long ago, who literally has shown John Constantine that there's something wrong with the green. There's something wrong with the green. The green is like literally on fire, and it's rotting and it's decaying and that. So Swamp Thing hasn't been around for a while.
Do we get a little bit of a? Do we get told which Swamp Thing we're dealing with in this? If it's Levi or Alec?
I'm guessing it's Alec, considering that at one point he does say like he doesn't like there's no names mentioned, but he says like we've been combined before. You've taken my body as a vessel. And I don't think he's done that with Levi.
Yeah, it'd have to be Alec, I think. I think I've read every issue that Levi's been in since they've introduced him, and I don't recall that.
But I was intrigued by the woman. I was intrigued by her beast that she had, and her story about how she took Dream Sand at one point to increase her life expectancy, and that's why she's still around. So I'm still intrigued by this story.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think issue 1 was bad at all. It just I just don't think I'm in the mood for a Cy Sperrier book right now, if that makes sense. I say it about Tom King, like I'm a Tom King stan, and I say it like when I review his stuff regularly. This is not the style book I would want my pull list to be like. But it's good to have 1 or 2 a month like this in your variety. my variety's full. You know, like I'm good. I'll stick with TK for right now until they fix the Flash. Size Barrier don't get another one out of me.
That's fair. That's fair. I've heard the issues with the Flash and that. So.
Yeah, see, Trev's the same way. I can't stand that dude. I'm dropping it, and I don't dislike Size Barrier. Like, I love this Suicide Squad Blaze. It was a black label. It was you knew what you were getting into. The Flash, he's the worst style writer for the Flash. He's not a bad writer. It's one of those mix match or mismatch things. Like, and we said it before he took the title on. When they announced it, we're like, wait, what? Wait, what?
I think he works with. I think he works with this series though.
Yeah, I think he.
I can't
for the what's it called, the Sandman universe stuff for sure.
I can't speak on his Flash because I didn't read it, but I'm just going off by what I've heard. But yeah, like I agree.
Picture in your mind a shitty Flash run, Travis. Just think to one. If you haven't read one, imagine one. That Size Barrier's run. That's it.
Yeah. And like, just to go back and like reading like earlier Hellblazer, it's heavy on dialogue. A lot of it's like him talking and that. So it's kind of going off the line of those stories as well. So I'm enjoying the story. I'm sad that people are dropping it too. I'm waving that flag high. Titans and John Constantine.
Well, I'm glad that you're reading them because that means I don't have to keep up with them. And I'm not saying that jokingly. Like, I like when people are reading stuff different than me so I can hear about it and keep up with what's going on. If something amazing happens, I'm not out of the loop. That's how I keep up with a lot of stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. That's definitely not how I keep up with the Incredible Hulk, though. Philip Kennedy Johnson is crushing this book. We're into a new arc. The story was fantastic. We don't have Nick Klein on the interiors. I feel like we've been honey-dicked with Nick Klein, but oh well. I read Hulk for the read. The art is it's kind of basic in this one. I don't ever look who's illustrating a book ahead of time kind of thing. So when I open it, I'm like, oh, I guess Nick's gone again. So he does some, he doesn't do some, he does some, he doesn't do some. But the story's cool. We're in Louisiana, and there's like this old lady who runs like an antique shop, and she's pretty much viciously killing randoms. And our lead little sidekick for the Hulk finds herself in that shop, and the woman kills somebody while she's in the shop, and then comes down toward her after she finds her little secret basement with a bunch of dead bodies and stuff. Meanwhile, the Hulk is in a graveyard dealing with Betty, aka Harpy, who's hulked out and got her wings out and is fighting him and stuff. So we'll see where it goes. They've been doing typically like a couple issue little story arcs dealing with a different monster issue in different areas as he travels around, all big old Bixby like. But I'm absolutely loving what Philip Kennedy Johnson's doing with this run.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I like the at the very beginning, Buddy like says, or she says something, and the words are actually what slices the girl in half. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
The lines in her that she just falls to pieces. I'm like, yo, yeah, that's some really cool whoa moments. That's for sure. Yeah, super. It was
very creative.
I like that they're advertising a king size Hulk for this year as well. You know, we get annuals every year, but it's cool that it looks like they're going to be doing a king size Hulk. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Paul, what's one that you enjoyed?
Fantastic Four too.
Oh yeah, I'll skip that one. Superman. Lex Luthor's Revenge Squad strikes. Jamal Campbell crushed it on the cover.
Exactly.
Honey-dicked again.
Mm-hmm. But only on the cover.
Only on the cover, yeah. What'd you think of this one?
It was. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of funny how they started creating different. If you were a Superman fan back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, there were a million different colors of kryptonite. There's practically a new color every single issue, and they kind of play with that here. and creating some kryptonite, and they realize that the red one is the one that basically can cause him to get angry. So they basically expose him to red kryptonite, but um, uh, he basically I'm trying to think of exactly how it happened in the end.
Yeah, this is like
Oh,
the whole squad rolls up. They reveal that
right,
Lex's
right.
mom is really a bad guy. She's sick of her son. They drag Lex into the fight and they anger Superman in hopes that he'll kill Lex. And turns out no one wants an angry Superman.
Right. And we basically find out that everything that's been happening is basically just been Lex Luthor's plan that he created years ago, um, and hasn't been able to stop it. So he created it like 17 years ago. So
one thing that I thought about reading this issue was Smallville of all things. Because if anyone else followed along with Smallville, you know that one thing that they never really wanted to do was put him in a suit or have him fly. He would jump and stuff, but there's a couple of episodes where red kryptonite is involved, and dude flies. He flies and it's awesome. Like goes and like intercepts a plane and rips the door off and goes like
it was the end of one season where they expose him to the red kryptonite and they show him flying up and like flying right at the camera, and that's how the season ended.
Yeah. There and that wasn't just like there was multiple different kryptonites on that show and stuff. Like red was one of them, silver was another. There's another one where it's just black was another one. Silver just made him very paranoid.
Yeah, it's funny because when they ran out of colors, they started doing. They had like diamond kryptonite. I'm like, well, is it diamond or is it kryptonite?
One day, I want to go back through all of Smallville. Wonder if Kyle will be down just to binge watch it.
Just so you know that Tom Wellings and Michael Rosenbaum are doing the rewatching it from the beginning and then talking about it on a podcast called Talkville.
Who hosts that one?
Michael Rosenbaum.
So he has podcasts.
Yeah. He has the Inside of You, and then he has Talkville. He does with Tom Wellings, and they go back and rewatch it. They sometimes have guests on, like who played Lana, and then Sam Jones the third.
Yep. I watched the It's Always Sunny podcast.
They haven't had Allison Mack on, surprisingly.
She's hanging out with what's his name, Gerard Jones.
Well, they could possibly eventually have her on. I can actually I can definitely see it because they are going through every episode and they do talk about her character on the show. And Michael Rosenbaum's had one of the people from the Nexum come on and talked about her experience, like she got branded and everything on Inside of You. But I could definitely see her coming on the podcast. She's out of jail, I think, and she's getting rehabilitated.
Well, in that case, she served her time. Like I can't hold nothing against her. She messed up. She served her time. So bring her on. Bring her on.
If they had Sam Jones the third on, he got into some legal trouble too, I think, for a while. But if they had him on, so why not?
Yeah, people make mistakes. It's what they do after that that matters. I have no room to judge anybody, so I'm not going to. Except Gerard Jones, he can go to hell. Allison Mack didn't diddle kids.
Because he's affecting your omnibus, that's why.
Well, I'm saying that's the clear line in the sand for anybody, right? Diddling kids. There's no coming back from that. Just I'm with Pop's wood chipper. Problem solved. Wood chipper. If you do the wood chipper, we can put the books back in the omnibus. We don't have to pay the guy, right?
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no coming back from that. You can go to hell. Cobra Commander. What a book. I feel like Brian De Palma wrote this issue. If you get that reference, you get that reference. I don't know how many people are familiar with Brian De Palma, but ironically enough, here comes Brian LCS with a very specific homage icon right there. That's the Godfather. Scarface. Scarface is what I thought about when I read this. Like, yo, that chainsaw did work. So we have Cobra Commander wandering through what feels like Louisiana, and he's tracking down an Energon source, and takes him through like these hillbilly, I'm assuming Cobra characters, Ripper and Zipper, Zapper and Tapper, whatever their names were, that are kill the guy with a chainsaw, and then he passes their shack, has a little shootout with him, and ends up going into the swamp deeper, where he falls through something into the water, and there's alligators. Next issue, Cobra Commander versus alligators. A little bit more to it than that, not much, but that's the gist of it. Well, let's get one glimpse back at Cobra Law, where they clearly have sent somebody to watch after Cobra Commander, and it looked to me like they were waking up Megatron. So I'm still convinced that Cobra Commander's gun is Megatron. I'm going to die on that hill until this series is 100% over. Till it's 100% over. I've heard the Cobra Island was just another name for that other island. Could be. You'd have to ask Gerard.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't enjoy CC2 as much as the first. It was fun, in and out. It was an in and out book. Fast paced, hard hitting, had a bunch of whoa moments, but it was like a 2-minute read. Definitely like a 2-minute read. I think the biggest purpose it served was that one page where you're like looking through the lens of somebody else, but like the way that they opened their eyes almost was like a TV cutting on. So it seemed like, yeah, obviously they're going to talk to Megatron, right? So we'll see. The fact that Megatron is here is what's got me most excited for it. Because when it comes to the whole Energon thing, the most excited I am about the whole thing is definitely the Transformers aspect of it. Yeah. Digging the Energon stuff. It hasn't really missed yet. Even the worst of it's still been a solid win. But yeah. What's up to the comic back? He was a comic book writer. I just looked up on Google. I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was until it was brought up.
Yeah, what's crazy is like the stuff that he wrote, I'm beyond familiar with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like one of the most iconic moments in Green Lantern's history. Amalgam stuff. There's certain characters and stuff that I can tell you, or creators and stuff I can tell you about Amalgam and all that, but definitely not all of it. Different. I was a young lad when all of that was coming out. What else you got from this week, Paul?
I think actually that's it for me.
They better not be.
Yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man 2.
You want to talk about Spider-Man, TM? TM, did you read it?
It was in the back of the pile.
No, I was going to be reading it prior to the stream. That's why I said prior to this, I was like, I need to read my comics earlier in the day.
I enjoyed this issue thoroughly. I enjoyed it more than the first issue. The first issue was solid. Introduction more than anything. This issue, you get a little bit of Spider-Man being Spider-Man for the first time. It's fun getting to see him do it in this stage of his life with a family and kids. It's cool getting to see how his kids are reacting to the news of the Spider character in the city. He's wearing an all-black costume that's like a nanotech costume that was left to him by Tony Stark, who's not present yet. Well, that's like all ties back to the Secret Invasion storyline where Tony's being blamed for what the Maker did. But his kids are afraid of this character and hope they never run into him. Fast forward, he actually comes home from a little fight with the Shocker, and May finds him in the suit, and it was this great interaction between him and May, and him sharing his secret with her and having this bonding moment with her. I thought was great. Meanwhile, Jay Jonah and Ben Parker are still trying to find their footing on what they're going to do about starting their own little news organization thing. The Kingpin gets threatened by the powers that be, and he gets a grudge against the powers that be, and the Green Goblin is lurking in the shadows.
Yes, I absolutely love this issue as well. To me, I think Jonathan Hickman is writing in for me, a non-traditional Jonathan Hickman way. And I'm enjoying the way he's writing this as compared to everything that he did on the X books. The X books to me were, when I first started them, I never went more than an issue or two because it just felt like it was such a slog to try to get through everything. But this is, to me, it's quick. The moments with like you said, Spider-Man and his daughter, and it's got he basically, the Shocker, basically, oh, you're right, you're absolutely right, I need to change my ways, you made me rethink my life, and then he shocks him, and then he comes back and finds him a second time, and he does it to him again.
No. It felt Spider-Man-y, didn't it? It felt good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll be reading that after the stream. I'll be definitely reading that, and Wonder Woman, because I didn't read Wonder Woman.
Holy potatoes. Wonder Woman's just next level. Another book that came close to it is the last book that I have on my list, and it's part 5 in the finale.
Can I guess what it is?
You already know what it is. Go ahead.
You say part 5, it's Transformers.
No. World's Finest, issue number 24.
Oh, shit. See, that was my first pick, but you said part 5. I took that as issue 5. Damn it.
My God. This right here. This right here. Did y'all catch? I caught it, like, right when I'm reading. Like, Kingdom Come is seared in the front of my brain. You can homage a panel out of Kingdom Come, and I would probably catch it. But I'm telling you, like that, I've read that book more times than I can count ever since 3rd grade. The very first page. Do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. And that's an intentional page layout. And yes, this is just sitting here. The official retailer poster.
Oh, yeah.
That's an intentional page layout. I opened this and I had to take a picture, and I shared it on social media from the car line the minute I opened it. But I'm like, and this is the preview that's signed by Alex Ross and Mark Waid. Thank you, Beckerman.
Nice.
He's sitting out. I'm afraid to put it up. I love it. But we have Darkseid. We have Earth 22 Darkseid for the first time in the history of Kingdom Come. For those that don't know, the only time we even see Apocalypse is when Superman goes to Apocalypse asking if they can use their facilities to hold prisoners. And at that point, Orion is ruling Apocalypse in Kingdom Come, and he's starting to resemble his dad. He tells Superman, "Nah, brah, why would I want your people?" I'm like, "Nah." But here in this story, it's really the origin of Magog and the attempted stopping of the origin of Magog. And Magog was created by Gog, one of the old gods who just wants like a hero's death, basically. He exists to die. And his route in which he chose to do it is to brainwash all the heroes of Earth 22 and send them to Apocalypse to attack Darkseid, because he knows it's a fool's errand. He'll kill them all. And Superman and Batman of Earth 1 have made it to Earth 22, teamed up with Superman and Batman there, and they stopped it from happening. They stopped the invasion. The boom tube was open. They were ready to go through. They stopped them, closed the tube. But before they can stop them, Darkseid saw what was happening and decided to come there. And he enters through a boom tube to Earth 22 at the end of the last issue. So this issue starts with the toughest, the most badass, the most intimidating Darkseid uses I've seen in I don't know how long. I can't even place the last time Darkseid was this tough. He's commanding. He's like, he had to be New 52. Like he's super big. He's just hands behind his back, just moving through the air. Both Superman just come at him like super speed punching. He's not even flinching, just Omega beaming people. Alan Scott and Wonder Woman attack him, and with one backswing, he just takes them both out nonstop. And he wants the anti-life equation. He can smell it. There's anti-life here. Magog realizes that the corpse of Gog is what's calling Darkseid, and he's not dead. Like the downed old god is what's it. So Magog dusts him, thinking that he's saving the day. He kills Gog and just disintegrates him. Then he calls out Darkseid, and this was a cool moment. He's calling Darkseid out, and Darkseid's like, "You're a waste of my time. I'm here for anti-life. I'm not here to make an example of an ant," basically. He's like, "Why would I?" And then he just leaves, like driven by purpose, not by vengeance, not by emotion, just pure purpose. It was so cool. And then you get like the whole learning moment or attempted learning moment of telling Magog what he did wrong, blah, 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 blah. How can we ever save David? And that's when the Spectre shows up. and gives them a glimpse into the unfortunate future that is Kingdom Come. It's inevitable. You cannot stop it. This is what David's future looks like. But the Spectre gives Earth 1, Batman, and Superman a glimpse farther into the future. He plays a tape all the way out, all the way to the point of David being old, mourning his decisions at the graves of so many that he's responsible for, and Superman getting a chance to talk to this young boy at the end of his life and see the remorse, the fact that he finally learns, and to kind of get that closure, and just knowing that you have to go through the events of Kingdom Come to get there. There is no alternative. Like this world, this person, he has an unfortunate hard road to salvation, and there's no way but through. I'm like, God dang. It was good, man. It was so good. Loved it. Loved it. Yeah. Big time recommend. Did you read it, Paul?
I have not. It's one of the ones that I get monthly with my.
Okay. It was so good. Created Mark Waid, Dan Moore, the people responsible for the upcoming summer event. They're leaving Shazam. Did you hear that?
Well, I know Dan Moore is. I didn't know that Mark Waid was as well.
Maybe that's all it was. I didn't go into. I just saw a headline. What is going on, Billy? Hey, K-pop. That's all I got for tonight, review wise. If y'all missed it, definitely hit that rewind back up. There's some good books to talk this week. Check out World's Finest. It's top tier. Wonder Woman, top tier. TM Nerdy will tell you to read Titans and Hellblazer.
Mm-hmm. Hellblazer was good. I really enjoyed it. If you're a fan of that area of DC, I feel like you will enjoy it. Give it a try. And Titans, stop dropping that damn title.
Yeah, everyone's dropping Titans at the same time. That's funny. Issue 7s are supposed to be like that's been the gold standard for we're going to keep these people on this title kind of thing. Like issue 7s have been good through the DC Dawn of DC stuff.
And then next week, make sure to go back and read some Green Arrow, because you're not going to want to miss next week's Green Arrow, where for some odd reason Oliver Queen is shaking hands with Amanda Waller.
Yeah, he's tracking down Roy. He finds himself in front of the Hall of Order, and Amanda Waller is face to face with him. The one responsible for shooting Roy in the head, and then him showing up alive with a scar, a bomb in his head or something. He's working for Waller, so World's Finest is ending. Is it? I mean, it makes sense. That'd be a good place to... I didn't know it was ending, but there's one thing about World's Finest or Superman Batman. That's really what it is that title will just be right back. Superman Batman has been rocking since like 2002.
Also next week, I seen this. Jay Garrick's The Flash, which is a great series. And where did I see this? There's a new #1 coming out next week, I think. I thought looked cool.
See, Detective is dropping next week. Green Arrow, Flash, Avenger, Twilight. Hell yeah, Duke.
Avatar.
Yes. The Frontiers of Pandora. Yep, that was #1 of my top 10 list. I was very excited for that. It's a 6-issue miniseries from Dark Horse Comics. It's the first one we've had in about a year and a half now, and it's going to be following the lead character from the Frontiers of Pandora, taking place shortly after the battle at the Hallelujah Mountains, the big finale of the first film. It's going to be a character called Solek. So we're going to be seeing some of the ramifications and fallout from that first major battle with the RDA in that first Avatar film. I'm very excited for it. Paul's like, Jesus Christ, I have to listen to him talk Avatar for 6 months. Are you kidding me?
Yes. And I guess they're going to start with that Giant Size next week with Giant Size Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Fantastic
I didn't know it was coming that fast. Wow.
Yeah.
And then what if Venom #1 comes out? Yeah, that's a lot of great comics. Spider-Punk Arms Race #1 comes out. There's a ton of new #1s coming out next week. It looks like it's all from Marvel.
Newburn returns next week. That
Number
one's
one,
been on
number one's from Marvel. This is my surprise book.
It's just in, yeah. Crashdown #2 for those that were jumping on Crashdown. There's a solid week, good variety. Godzilla War for Humanity #4. That has some of the coolest interior art I've seen on a Godzilla title yet.
Oh,
some good stuff. Next,
we
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
We talked about 2 great Marvel titles this week. With Ultimate Spider-Man and then Incredible Hulk. But next week, we also have another great Marvel title coming out, the 3rd issue of Avengers Twilight.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful Alex Ross Kamala Khan cover, too.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did announce that they were a new Ultimate #1 is coming out.
The Ultimates, yeah, like the Avengers, basically. I'll be picking that one up for sure. Black Panther wasn't my jam. I'm enjoying Spider-Man. I'm skipping X-Men altogether completely. Like Peach Momoko writing and illustrating X-Men, I'm all the way out. You completely lost me at that point. If you got any channel members out there, remember in the custom emojis, you have that Austin over Peach custom emoji. I don't dislike Peach Momoko, but it's just not my jam. I didn't pick up Demon Days or nothing.
But they're revamping the X-Men. They're canceling all of the House of X, Powers of X, the whole Krakoa era of the X-Men and starting. Yeah, and they're starting over. So
it's making me wonder if they're going to oh, thanks, Paul. Jesus.
Paul's got you covered.
Paul's got me covered. Yeah, before we go, because next week I'll be doing the drawing for the Legion loot for the monthly channel member giveaway. You know, I'm always doing giveaways over here, but once a month we do the big giveaway for the channel members. And included in this month's, I decided to do because of all the no FOMO talk that goes around on the internet. Like, and I feel like we all buy what we want to buy, whether it's FOMO books or not. I figured I'd curate a FOMO theme to the Legion loot. But first off, we have the books that Big Time Collectibles sponsors and send stuff and just give it back away. We have that beautiful Flash 1 Reverse Flash foil.
I love that.
Venom 15 John Jane Goodness. Wicked cover. We have this Tyler Kirkham Kylo Ren Star Wars. I forget which actual issue that is. Then we have a David Nakayama Gwenverse. Beautiful cover there. And then getting into some of the goodness, we have Night Thrasher #1. Night Thrasher #1. Marcus, grown-ass men rallying against FOMO will never not be funny. Hey, that's why we're here. We're here to counter program the no FOMO guys. You ready to get into some FOMO? Are y'all ready? First up, we'll start small. Rebel Moon #1. First appearance of Rebel Moon in comic books. Who knows what will happen with this Rebel Moon universe, but you will be on the cutting edge with the first appearance of Rebel Moon in comics. For those that didn't pick up Crashdown, you have an opportunity to get the first issue of Crashdown from comic book journalists Tom Garcia and Ryan Sargent. Yep. And then we have always in any FOMO pack, you have to have Super Pro, right? Right. You never know when this book will pop, but it will pop. It will. Right. You might not be alive when it does, but it will. Moon Knight #1 from the new series featuring the first appearance of the questionably new Moon Knight. We got to see what happens. That's why it's a FOMO book. The cover that everyone loves to hate, X-Force issue #48. Beautiful. Again, wasn't my jam, but that's just my taste. You know, I'm just not big on Marvel stuff, but this is a hot book. Ultimate Black Panther issue #1. And you know, the hot one that kicked it all off was Ultimate Spider-Man #1. And this is the 1-in-10 ratio variant. I thought that was pretty dope. I had an opportunity to grab a ratio, so I did. Turns out the A cover was the most valuable one. We just celebrated the 350th issue of Spawn. Spawn is never not going to be hitting. So we got a first appearance of Spawn right there from 1992. and they announced X-Men 97 is coming back, and in celebration of that, we have X-Men Adventures #1. And then the ultimate FOMO book for right now with the Fantastic Four announcement and Herbie the Robot going to be making the first live action appearance. We got Fantastic Four issue 209 featuring the first appearance of Herbie the Robot. So we have the FOMO pack.
Now I got a question for you guys. Who would you guys want to voice Herbie? I know a lot of people have been just like, you know what, let's get RuPaul in there.
I would say probably TM Nerdy.
All right, I'm down for voicing Herbie.
You're nerdy.
Mm-hmm. Let's just get K-pop to do it. I'm looking in the chat. Who would be a good Herbie voice? I think K-pop would. Muffled sound of Herbie in a hoodie. Pee Wee Herman, that's a good one.
I picked, since he's dead.
Oh. Did anyone ever get the chance to license his voice like they did with James Earl Jones before he went? Has to be John Travolta. Who did the voice of Rosie in the Jetsons? I've always like, you know, like that's it, right? We just need Rosie from the Jetsons.
I picked I liked Bill Hader. I'd pick Bill Hader to voice him.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd get Bill Hader doing one of his character voices that he does, but just do it as Herbie. That would be hilarious.
What's that one where he's dressed as a woman and like he's telling in that news report and that he can't help but laugh, but like that voice that he does. I forget what that character is.
I like
it was on SNL.
Reoccurring skit on SNL where he plays Herb, the old reporter who comes to the scene and just smacks people in the face with a microphone. You meat bag. Herb.
Right.
That would be good.
And then he make fun of the guy in the studio. Don't tell me what to do, eyebrows.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do. It's always Jason Sudeikis in the studios, and yeah. He's like dead on the bench. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Barry is an awesome series, Billy. It's a great series.
The church lady, TM. Harvey was a church lady.
I don't know, just a second. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh no, but that's gonna do it for tonight.
Dana Carvey. Yeah, Dana Carvey was the church lady. So
gotcha. So that's gonna do it for tonight. Tomorrow, we got a CGC unboxing, some spec stuff that panned out. And then Wednesday is comic vlog number 6. Both of those videos are available for channel members right meow. And it was a good time. I'm enjoying making those. They're really fun. I'm able to get the family involved. It's just fun. Just fun. So be sure to check those out. Be on the lookout. And like we mentioned at the front end of the stream, DC Deep Dive 10 a.m. tomorrow on Sector 2815. Guess that key 9:30 on Wednesday. Come by the live show. See if you can guess that key. It's really fun. We'll have Lady Fantastic on there as well as Izzy Comic Verse NYC. Yep. There'll be some cool prizes, all kinds of fun stuff. And TM Nerdy has Between the Lines tomorrow night on Roscoe's channel this week.
Roscoe's channel, yeah. And then earlier on that night, chatting with the comic community. And then tomorrow tonight after Guess That Key on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. That's why it's tomorrow tonight, because it's tomorrow for me and tonight for you guys.
That's right. It starts at 11 o'clock and it ends when TM falls asleep live in the in the feed.
Herb on us. That's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate everybody coming by and watching. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button to help with the eternal battle against the YouTube algorithm. If you enjoy the show, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, let's go to bed.